Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tiffany Benson, one part of Team Benson, and today we're going to do a garden tour. Hopefully, before it gets too hot. So guys, if you are new here, welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany. I grow a garden in the Arizona desert in the middle of the city. So it is technically a urban desert garden is what I like to call it. And those of you guys that have already been here and you're returning for more fun, welcome back. So we are going to do a garden tour. Normally I do them every single Sunday, but our internet was out, guys. So today I'm doing it right now, which will be a Monday. But I'm going to start with this side of the garden because everything is getting hotter and hotter and hotter. If you guys have been following along on my channel, you'll know that we have already started reaching the temps of 110. The nights are still in the 80s, about 80s I'd say there, but the days are super hot. So I want to go ahead, let you guys see this part since I'm a little late getting out, so that I can get it watered and covered up with all of my shade cloth so that my garden doesn't burn up. So starting on the opposite side, guys, look at how full this is looking. I know some people might look at this and go, oh, it's so full, it's so beautiful. I look at it and I go, I'm going to prune that. So these are my beta alpha cucumbers, and I notice on here I'm starting to get some. I found some yesterday. Oh yeah, there we go. There's a little cucumber coming in, but I need to go ahead and prune the bottom parts of these because I do not want them to get any type of powdery mildew. Now my okra, I'm getting about an okra to 2 a week or a day. So these are coming in nicely. And then I have my cantaloupe. This one is a full-size cantaloupe. This one's starting to grow. My hope is that normally my okra gets super tall, and I'm going to prune the entire bottom of the okra and let the cantaloupe kind of run in and out of the okra. I am going to be planting some more okra here in this blank space, but I haven't gotten it in yet. And then I have a butternut squash right over there, and then look at how tall this corn is getting, guys. I'm trying to pull all the way back so that you can see it, but it is getting really nice and tall there in the corner. And then my Armenian cucumber is doing quite well. It is finally starting to run. I want it to start to spread out so it can really take over that trellis, but we got 2 of them there and they're doing good. We have some peppers. We have a sweet banana pepper, a bell pepper there, and then a Marconian pepper right back there. And then over here we have our squash. This one is a Mexican gray squash. And then over here we have our patty pan. Now guys, what's funny is that I have celery right here. And it kind of just started off as I forgot to pull the roots out of there, so the celery grew back once I harvested all the celery. And then it just turned into well, I wonder how long it's going to last. And so far it hasn't bolted, it's just there, so I just keep it watering. Granted, it's not growing any taller than that, but that also could be because it's in a pot, but we're just going to keep it there and maybe make some celery salt later on. And then over here I have my Chinese red long noodle beans. They're slow to grow. I have noticed that. Very slow to grow. I have some more that I'm going to put in to fill in right here, and then hopefully those take off pretty soon. Then I have some basil, which the basil is so beautiful and smells so amazing, and a shishito plant that I need to go ahead and prune, guys, because yes, my shishitos are not coming in the way that I want them to, so I'm going to prune this one back, and then hopefully that will make them come in. My marigolds are still doing good. Those are nice and pretty. And then I have some Rios that I'm testing out. If you guys are looking for desert flowers, the Rio does really well, and it is this one. So if you guys are looking for something. So I have had some wins and losses this year for my summer garden. My spring garden is pretty much wrapped up, and now I'm into my summer garden, and I'm already starting to plan out and plant my monsoon garden. Now my summer garden, I have tried out a couple of new different things. The beta alpha cucumber was something that I wanted to try that's new to my garden because it's not supposed to need pollination. It was really slow to first start out, and now it's starting to grow a lot quicker. The heavy hitter okra, normally I only grow the Clemson spineless okra, I think is what it's called. I grew a heavy hitter this year, and yes, I am getting about an okra to 2 okras a day, which is quite nice. I can't wait till those get fully grown, and then they're really putting out a lot of okra. High hopes. And then also with my squash this year, guys, I got the genius idea that I was going to plant just one of everything for the squash and see which one grew the best and I liked the best. And that was a poor choice. I should have just planted the ones that I normally plant, because they were opening at different times. It's like each time that squash plant opens one flower. So it'll open a female flower or it'll open a male flower, and then I don't have the pollen, or I have to hand pollinate it or try and save the pollen, and it's just been a nightmare with the squash. So what I will be doing is planting some more squash for monsoon and pulling that one up. I'll be planting the Mexican gray squash because that one is my favorite, and then over in the pots I'll probably be replanting some yellowneck squash because they just grow really easy in Arizona. But let's look at this side. So I'm going to be planting out this area pretty soon. It's going to be a loofah that goes over here, so this shade cloth will be slowly rising to make sure it's still providing shade for the back end of this cucumber plant while the loofah is growing in to take over. I'm also going to do a video this week on my worm bin, since it's getting really hot temperatures and everybody's asked me how to take care of the worms. So I'm going to do a video on that. Now up here with my strawberries, as you guys can see, I'm still struggling. I am getting used to growing strawberries this year. I think I've learned a lot of lessons, and I think I'm going to know what to do more so for next year, which is basically get them in a lot earlier. I am going to leave these roots because these are bare root strawberries. So I'm going to leave the roots and see if they come back when it's time for them to come back. And then maybe add a couple more to them or something like that until I can get this to really fill out and love Arizona. Now down here, I have a lemongrass that I still need to come in and prune. So I'll be coming in and doing that because we need to start making stock so that we have some chicken stock going. And then this is my medicinal bed. I have a roselle hibiscus that's growing so beautiful here. My toothache plant, guys, roselle and toothache plant go really well together. This is producing so nicely. We've gotten so many toothache buds off of it, and it's just growing perfectly underneath the roselle, and the roselle is providing a nice amount of shade for it. The catnip, on the other hand, is getting eaten by a couple of few things, probably some worms in there, which I've been leaving because I'm using the catnip on a project, but also it's keeping bugs off of anything else. And then my chamomile, I think it's about time for it to come up because it is hot, and I think chamomile is more of like a spring thing. Comment down below and let me know when you guys take out your chamomile. Then over here we have some bush beans that definitely have seen better days, and that's gonna go in the lost category because I tried growing bush beans, guys, over the summer. They are not a summer crop and they hate it. And then I have my midget cantaloupe, which has a melon on it. I'm so excited. It is trying to apparently grab onto my air conditioning unit, so I will be cutting off that branch. And it has put on some new growth. As you guys can see, it's now at the top of the arch, and it's putting out some more flowers. So I'm hoping that maybe that'll get me more cantaloupe, because I was expecting more than one right now, but we'll see what happens with the new growth that it puts out. Now, a lot of people ask me about growing so close to my AC unit, and this just actually is a big giant fan. It just blows out air for the AC unit, and I don't want things growing on it though, because that's not a good thing. So I do make sure that I'm pruning these plants and keeping them nice and trained up this trellis. So any ones that try to vine out and go different ways, I just cut off that entire vine and only let it grow on this trellis. That does help it a lot because it lets the plant focus its energy on making fruit versus expanding and making more leaves. Now over here, this was an experiment, and this whole experiment is gone. I'm showing you guys this just so that you can learn from my mistakes. Now, I had some extra cucumber plants. I put them right here. I don't even remember. I think these ones were space savers. And this is the hottest part of my garden, guys, and it just did not do well. So I'm gonna go ahead, pull these out, and I probably will be putting some rattlesnake pole beans in once I get those in the mail. And then these were just some tomato plants that needed to come out anyway. I've just been leaving them mainly for structure to hold the shade cloth. So it's okay, guys, if you have a couple things that burn up in the Arizona desert. We grow in hot temperatures, and this is a learning experience. So make sure that you're testing it out. Grow some things you know are gonna do well, but then grow some things just to test them out, just to see how they do, because it might surprise you. All right, guys, now moving on to my patio, I have some things that I'm really enjoying this summer right now. Now, when I say enjoying the summer, I mean enjoying the summer also with some shade cloth. So I have my eggplant right here, which is, it flowered and it's now starting to bud up new little eggplants. So I'm pretty excited about that. I have a lizard right back there. He's also enjoying the summer. And then I also have my shishito peppers. Now my shishito peppers just keep producing and keep producing. As you guys can see, we have more buds coming up on them, more producing over here on this plant. I'm getting more red ones, which I am loving, and more buds on these. Same thing with the jalapenos, more flowers and buds and more jalapenos. I also have some basil over here that needed some more sun, so I have been putting the shade cloth after a while, so not leaving it on the entire time. And then we have this new one, which is a candy cane pepper, so that one's still a baby, it needs to grow up. We have a new little garden spider. We have two over here that do not like when I water. They hate it. Oh, actually we have three over here. And then this one is finally done, guys. This is my ground cherry. It is all finished for the year. This one was a great plant to have in the garden, but I'm gonna go ahead and rip that one out. Now guys, important things to remember. When you see a plant or seeds and it says heat loving, it doesn't mean desert heat loving, or rarely does it mean desert heat loving. Or if you see one that says full sun summer plant, it doesn't mean desert full sun summer plant. Or rarely. There are things that can do well in the high heat, which I will do a whole video on that for you guys, but make sure that you're covering things up with your shade cloth, because you're still able to get a harvest. I'm still able to get a harvest of eggplants and shishito peppers even in these high 110, 115 degrees because I'm using the shade cloth. Alright guys, I'm going to try and rush through the last parts because we are getting a lot of city noise, but the artichoke is getting ready to come out. Well, I'm going to cut it back. It'll probably grow back, but you know, that's artichoke. The Swiss chard is still doing amazing. The watermelons are getting eaten by everything, but we have given up on those. So I am just going to figure out what type of cover crop I want to put in here. Probably a sweet potato I think might be a good idea. My mint is doing so amazing. This one's the chocolate mint, guys, and it is, I love it. I love that chocolate mint. I have some tomatoes that are just holding space at this point. This one is a crookneck squash, which is still doing good. I'm still not getting any female flowers on here, but it's still young. And then I have some basil here that I need to come in and prune. So guys, your basil will try and bolt in the summer, and what you want to do is you want to get in here, get down to that next set of leaves and pull it right there, because you don't want it to flower. And if you go ahead and prune it, it'll stop flowering. Now the basil is something I need to come in and get because I want to make some pesto anyway. And then I have another squash plant here. That one's a straight neck. And then this tomato is a Texas wild cherry. I finally figured it out. And I have a little cherry tomato coming in right there. As well as over here, guys, one more cucumber coming in on this bush plant. I had another one, but something ate it. So you know how that goes in the summer. And then I have my herbs coming in nicely. I have the sweet marjoram, the oregano is starting to die back, the basil got ate by something, and then I have rosemary, some parsley, some sage, more rosemary, and another chive. I swear there's like a sweet spot with making videos, and then you get like leaf blowers, and the leaf blowers are non-stop. That city. So I have 2 more trees to show you guys, which is my lime tree, and it is doing really well, holding up greatly to this heat. And then I have some flowers below it that are holding up really greatly to the heat. These things don't get covered and they're still doing amazing. And then we have the mulberry tree over here. It is underneath an umbrella and liking things a lot better. I decided to put it underneath there because the hot wind was blowing and really giving this one a hard time. So I put it underneath here so that at least it can grow and get a lot stronger and maybe get some more leaves on it. The lemon balm is coming back in slowly but nicely. So this one is doing good and enjoying the extra shade. Now to be planted, we have all of my new little starts. I will go over what they are when I get ready to plant them out to show you guys. But all of these are officially getting ready to go in the ground outside of those bush beans because those of course died in the heat. Well, that's all I got, guys. The city is starting to wake up and get loud, so I am going to head inside after I close up my garden and put a shade cloth over it. But until next time, make sure you grow yourselves a garden because even a small space can provide you with tons of food. Bye, guys.